Well, hello, creatives community and kind folks. Welcome to RPG with DBJ. I am your host, DBJ. I apologize for an absence earlier. This is just a little summary. I'm getting older, uh, take a lot of trips. Weekends are becoming a combination of this old man trying to live his best life and hanging out with friends and family and yeah, you get older, you start taking naps, and those naps get a little bit longer. Um, all right, here is Tuesday. It's Level Up Tuesday here with Level Up Advanced Fifth Edition, and I thought we would return to a um, a new feature for character creation in Level Up Fifth Edition, and an old feature, Alignment, which has its many detractors, including those in End World and Level Up Advanced Fifth Edition. But we'll get into how alignment still exists, but in a new way. And so we're gonna talk about it. All right. So during character creation, ooh, maybe I should actually. Uh, I should have had the original book opened up here. So during character creation, um, the character creation part of it, and especially with parallels to fifth edition Dungeons and Dragons, there are, you pick your what used to be race. It's now called heritage, and excuse me, I feel like something in my throat. Race now called heritage, and then you pick your class, whatever you pick a background. But in fifth edition, we have something new. In A5E, I apologize, we have something new. And one of those is something known as, let's see, one page spread, a single page. What in the world? What is going on? No, I don't want to update. Thank you, computer. I appreciate your I appreciate your attention, but we don't need you to update at this very moment. Okay. So one thing I will share with you in just a moment. Here we go. Let us do such a thing. So one of the things that we are able to do here when it comes to character creation is choose a destiny. And a destiny is like unlike alignment, it is a forward, active instead of reactive feature for your character. And for our destinies, instead of alignment, which a lot of people feel shackles your character creation, it also many people feel like it shackles their ability to make choices. Instead, of course, you're going to actively choose a destiny, and during gameplay, you're allowed to, uh, with the help of the narrator, even change your destiny along the way. For example, you may have a destiny about getting revenge on someone that murder killed your village, and then by third level you're done and you fulfilled that. But like, how does your character progress? Well, maybe you choose a different destiny following along with other with another PC, or maybe you find a new motivation in life. And so that's where that comes about. So right now I'm on A5E.tools. It's down, the link is down a doobly doo, and across the top, of course, we have all of our pull downs. So we're going to go to characters and go down to our pull downs. We have our heritage, which is your biology. We have our cultures, which is your upbringing. We have our backgrounds, which is a unlike a culture, which may be in a particular region. Your background is, well, what did you do, or what was your focus in life during that place. For example, people maybe that grew up in a mountainous region or swamp may have a different culture than those that live on coastlines or in a desert. But when you're there, what were you? Were you like a charlatan or a hermit or a merchant or something like that. But we have destinies. So we're going to pick our destinies. And when we slide down to our destinies, you'll see that the Adventurer's Guide has a number of destinies included, but we also have something, those listed under the Gate Pass Gazette. And the Pass Gazette, if you sign up for the Patreon for N World, each magazine, each zine has different features, and people submit articles for those features, and new destinies were created in there, like darkness and death, fire and ice, etc. And again, the destinies are very forward thinking, forward motion. They are a feature for your character that's basically lets everybody know what is your purpose. And also this lets the narrator realize, like, oh, I, the player characters, this is what they're searching for, this is what they are actively, when all else fails, this is what's where their character's focus is. And there is a little bit of an alignment feature associated with this. So unlike traditional alignment, way coming from way back in the 70s up until now, this is a little bit of an OSR style alignment, in the sense that there are no creatures with alignment. Player characters do not have to pick one, but depending on your destiny, and there are also, I believe, there's some magic spells, there are magic items. Um, your character could pick up one or more. Uh, you could be endowed with a trait of an alignment which does not necessarily affect your character's personality. So, for example, we do have law and or lawfulness, chaos, good and evil, and your character may be tagged with that particular specific alignment trait. And so, for much like a curse, or like your aura, or being born under particular stars, or something like that, your character could pick up a magic item, and all of a sudden you come across as being chaotic. And um, there are creatures that could sense it, there are magic items that are affected by it, there are magic spells and things like that. And your destiny, one or more of your destinies, may give you that alignment trait. And so, despite the fact that you personally, your character's personality may not align with the alignment, you still may be there are sources that could sense that from you. And so, um, here, starting at the beginning, under chaos for destiny, those destined for chaos don't live by rules binding ordinary folk. They clash with authority and tradition all their lives, either in minor acts of subversion or outright rebellion. Tricksters are rarely mere rule breakers. Their ideology signals change for both the meek and mighty. And each of these destinies has a source of inspiration and a feature which allows you to use, well, inspiration in a new and different way. So, for your source of inspiration, you have chaos. You sow disorder, play tricks, and subvert tradition. You gain inspiration whenever you successfully subvert law and order, so long as it benefits your allies or moves the story forward. And so, for example, if you successfully lie to or humiliate an authority figure, commit a punishable crime, indulge in base pleasures to ill-advised extremes. And these are just examples of how to engage in your chaos, if chaos is your destiny. And then your inspiration feature is undaunted by momentary setbacks. You twist conversations in any direction with an inspired turn of phrase and confusing double talk that plays off bold lies and impertinent proposals as jokes, obfuscates or redirects accidentally slipped information, or quells outrage with diffusing flattery. So, whenever you or a friendly creature you can hear fails a deception or persuasion check, you can use your reaction to spend your inspiration and undo any consequences of that failed check. So, basically, it's a new way to use your inspiration if you have the chaos destiny. And then there are ways to fulfill your destiny. And fulfilling your destiny, there's no prescribed level unless you've reached 16th level, in which is it assumed that you have fulfilled your destiny and you get some trait. So there's a mechanical reason to work towards your destiny. So you fulfill your destiny of chaos when you overturn a world or cosmic order. So greatly destabilize a nation or extremely large organization, subvert or trick a deity level entity, or upset the status quo for a vast number of people like a nation. And if you gain, if your fulfillment feature is Agent of Chaos, the winds of chaos flow through you and everything you do. Whenever you roll one or more dice to determine the damage of an attack or spell, or the random effects of a spell or feature, you may choose to re-roll those dice. If you do so, if you do, you must use the new roll. And then in addition, you gain the chaotic alignment and emit a strong chaotic aura for the purposes of any feature, spell, or trait that detects or affects chaotic creatures. And this is an example of how alignment still exists in A5E, but it is not. For example, this character has you gain a chaotic alignment and emit a strong chaotic aura, but you still act the way you want to, right? You still have your own personality, and other creatures may sense that about you, and that might be good or bad. Magic, there's magic and magic items that may have some effects on you, things like that. So, and then there's some, and there's a random table here, D6 table, so you can customize the kind of chaotic creature that you want to be. Now, if we go back, we're going to go back to the original Destinies, and there's plenty of them, right? There's chaos, there's coming of age. Coming of age is like it is your how to say this? It's like it's the it's the proverbial leaving the farm, the moisture farm, and going out into the bigger world. It's I've been cloistered away, and now I've my voice doesn't crack anymore, and I've just slipped past puberty and now I'm going out into the bigger world. And then there's others here like darkness, death, devotion, dominion, uh, destiny of excellence. And we also have a fire, ice, knowledge, light, metamorphosis, prophecy, revenge, slayer, underdog, and wealth. And some of these have some pretty interesting uh, traits to them. The Yen King says the irony is that chaotic characters exist in a structured game with clearly defined rules. That is true. That is like, here's the rules for you to act chaotic. I'm not going to break those chaotic rules, right? Yeah, but that's exactly what that is. Hey, Mike, it says checking you briefly. Pathfinder 2E is updating their core books in November, including the removal of alignment as a way to distance themselves from D&D. And they're also going back and retconning Drow elves, I believe. And I think Tales of the Valiant, TOV, is also doing something similar to that. They don't need to do that, like removing alignment or like removing Drow elves, but it legally and financially and creatively, it's just a good idea to be like, no, our game, yes, it is pseudo fantasy, but we aren't Dungeons and Dragons, and we don't even want to be related to that information, and we don't even want to deal with the ramifications of such a thing. So I get it, right? I know some people are just like they didn't have to, and blah blah. I'm upset. I'm like, yeah, but they want to rule. They want to be their own. They want to live on their own pedestal, and I'm all for it. I'm all for that. If you want to control your own destiny, yeah, hell yeah, do it. So, and I know some people are just like, just rename them and call them, dark elves or shadow elves, which is what A5E has done. They're just called shadow elves. So there's some pretty interesting features in here when it comes to using destiny and how alignment still features in. But like, for example, under prophecy, I'm picking one randomly here. Under the destiny of prophecy, we've seen this plenty of times in novelizations and other creations where someone it's the chosen one kind of thing, right? Or a character is shown their destiny to them, and a prophecy predicts or maybe the character doesn't even know about their prophecy, but everybody else does. But a prophecy predicts that a great hero will arise or cause some kind of upheaval. And so, for example, this one says, "You are tangled in the threads of a prophecy foretold by the fate spinner, her cult, or other powerful prescient entity. This prophecy may promise you great riches and immense power, or it may threaten you with visions of a grim death. Nevertheless, you live each day with the knowledge that your destiny is both greater than yourself and out of your hands. Consult with the narrator to come up with a prophecy suitable to the setting and campaign." And your source of inspiration is foresight. You know in your very being that all things follow naturally from one another in a deterministic pattern, and that by planning in the present, you secure the future. You gain inspiration when enacting plans for the future, or when a course of action you set in motion pays off in the long run. Make a plan that snatches victory from the jaws of defeat. Make a fool of a foe by remaining one step ahead of them. Supply your allies with vital information. Sow false or deceptive information among your foes. Lay the groundwork for something that won't pay off until potentially well after the end of your life. And those are just examples of like how you would go about basically gaining inspiration mechanically, by playing into your destiny. So the feature here is preordained fate. Your death is already prophesized. Anything that arrives sooner is merely an invigorating taste of what's to come. When you have 0 hit points at the end of another creature's turn, you can spend your inspiration to gain 1 hit point. When you do, move your position in initiative to immediately after that creature's turn and take your turn normally. This is like, if you take a read this, it's like a slightly modified version of, oh, what is it called? Oh, wow, Orcish, um, Resilience? Anyway, it's a version of that. And again, this is about destiny, so it doesn't matter what race you are, but it also kind of plays into the fact of, oh, I know I'm supposed to die within, 5 years and 2 months. I'm not supposed to die yet. And so you can use your inspiration to gain 1 hit point, but you kind of drop down on the initiative chart, initiative cycle. So you kind of pay for it when you do so, but it's okay. Um, for this one, in fulfilling your destiny, this is when you truly fulfill the destiny. You fulfill your destiny when your part in the prophecy finally comes to an end, even if that end is a grim one. The specifics of this prophecy could be discussed with your narrator, but should remain at least partially shrouded in mystery until the time comes for them to be fully revealed. And this could be anything. This could be a natural progression in the game, or the narrator is like, "Oh yeah, this is random dice and a strange moment in the story. Actually, this sounds like it should be it right now." Or you as the player character is like, "Yeah, it. I know I plan this to happen at 18th level, but I'm 7th level, and it kind of fits." So anyway, this one says it's called Total Clarity. It all makes sense. The prophecy that's followed you all your life has come together, and now you are freed from the bonds of fate. If the fulfillment of this prophecy, let's see if here we go. Oops, come on. There we go. If the fulfillment of this prophecy results in your death, you get one final chance to alter the prophecy before you pass. Treat this as an equivalent to a wish spell, which you utter with your dying breath before passing on, impossible to resurrect. If you survive the fulfillment of a prophecy, you gain a new lease on life, having broken free from having broken free from the tightest shackles of all. Your will has been forged to be unbendable. While you have inspiration, you automatically succeed on saving throws against effects that would cause you to become charmed, confused, frightened, stunned, or paralyzed. And mind you, these features, these like fulfillment features, are it's like it's like a personal story gift that you are trying to achieve. And so getting this at like very low levels, like 5th to 8th level or something, makes you pretty powerful. Once you start getting into the end of tier 3, going into tier 4, you know 13th, 14th, 15th level, and such, it makes a little bit more sense. But also, some of these features, like you know getting the wish spell just before your character dies, kind of cool. You could really reshape if your narrator is willing to go for it, you could really reshape um, a, a campaign based on your character, right? Is it real? There it is. Thank you very much. There, Mike talks about it's relentless endurance. Yeah. Hey there, A King. I see it. Yeah. Mike says any PC with chosen one is guaranteed to die by level 3 unless there's plot armor. Yeah, exactly. I can't die. I'm chosen. Yeah, charges into orc army alone. Yeah. Yes, it is called. It is relentless endurance. It's a slightly weaker version of that. Although if you have inspiration, I don't know. Anyway, it works the same way. Um, the Yanking says I wanted to make a setting where there were thousands of chosen ones. Go into any dungeon and you'll see a dead hero in a spike trap. Yeah, yeah. They will all think they've been chosen. Um, but it is kind of. I mean, how classic is that storyline? I don't really like chosen one stories. They rub me the wrong way a little bit. Yeah, post prophecy clarity, like, oops, it wasn't about me, it was about somebody else. I didn't realize. There is that. But um let's go back to our destinies here. There are a number of these, and there's I wish this was off. There's something that I think is a great world building tool, which is often not used, which is player character choices make excellent world building fodder for narrators out there. So what I mean is when you have, like, for example, um, you know what? Let me see if I can share this out here. Okay, let's share. Let's increase the size of this and move this down slightly. Character origins. Let's see. Mm-mm. Do. Let's share. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Let's stop sharing this because there it is. I want to share this part. Here we go. So let me zoom in a little bit here. So under when designing characters, you get to pick your heritage. And so on the very left here is like your heritage. And it's kind of a cheat sheet, and it's also a summary. And so for A5E, you can pick like who are your parents, and you can pick like dragonborn, dwarf, elf, et cetera, mixed heritage as well. Um, the mixed heritage is you can pick, essentially you can mix and match the features from your biologies. So that's why you don't see half elf in here. You don't see half orc, because you could, if you're allowed to pick it, you could be half orc, half gnome, or you could be half dwarf, half halfling, or you could be half dragonborn, half elf, or something like that, depending on the biology and how things go in your world. Um, and mixing the heritage is just a matter of picking one or more, exchanging one feature for another feature from your biology. And then next to that, of course, because you have different races, you can make cities and places in your world when you're doing world building, and fill them with a number of these different biological origined peoples. And then next to that are cultures. And what I think is a great idea, along with using cultures and such, with this list of cultures here, is that pick. I like using three. Three, I think, is like the minimum number to still have conflict and still have some significant choice. And different parts of your world, maybe the desolate swamps of Vaucaire or something. Uh, you pick three of these cultures, and if a player character says, "I want to be from those swamps," well, pick one of these cultures, and you list three, and then a player character could pick one of those three. For example, maybe there's a huge metropolitan city, and so in that city you may say, okay, well, there is the cosmopolitan culture, there is the imperial culture, and then there is the steam forged culture, right? And so that's in one major city. and then maybe there's another major city that's like on the outskirts of town, and it's like it's the last trading post before you go out into um the wilds. And so maybe there is, what's a good one? It's mountain dwarf culture. There is the villager culture, and then there is the caravaner culture. Um, it's those three major cultures, and then of course we have our backgrounds and some example backgrounds maybe you want to have for your world building. And then we come over to our destinies. And when choosing the destinies, these are the ones that are in the base book for the Adventurer's Guide. When choosing your destiny, maybe there are like suggested destinies based on the people of a certain location. For example, maybe people in the big city, they don't really believe in like prophecies and fate and that kind of thing. But maybe there's definitely a strong coming of age destiny that people fall into, or a downtrodden culture. Maybe revenge is big because of this is after a long-standing war that's been 3 generations in the making, and now people are just like, oh, those people over across on the other side of the valley, hell no, I don't like them. Or maybe in a big metropolitan city, wealth and uh, dominion are huge. Hey, it's a mining town, and people want to, mine for tin and gold and silver, and you're not anybody unless you want some great wealth. And so those may be possibilities in terms of cultivating or narrowing down. Oh, I didn't even share this with you guys. Duh. Narrowing down, that's stupidity of me. Narrowing down some of these features here. So, we have Dragonborn. We've got there we go. Now I can see my own thing. Wow. First, I need to let you guys see it. Now I got to be able to see it. So, yeah. So we get to pick. You get to pick your destiny. You pick your backgrounds on right here. Where did you grow up? What kind of culture did you grow up in? And all of these have mechanical features as well. And then, of course, what your heritage is. Yes, we do. I do understand that in Tales of the Valiant, they use lineage and heritage, I believe is the way they have it. Lineage is your biology and heritage is your culture. Uh, in A5E, it's heritage as your biology and culture as your culture. And then your background, who or what were you or are you in within your culture, and then your destiny. So let's get back into our, what is going on here? Oh, do-do-do-do-do-do. The Yankees' backgrounds were my favorite part of 5e, and this seems like a really cool extension of that. I agree, and these are based on 2014 backgrounds, so there isn't the power creep where you have a background that actually has like a super major feature. Instead, these backgrounds are instead these backgrounds are your classic, like you get to pick 2 skills, they give you some features, you have some items, and you get some personality traits and some background traits involved in it. But I really do like them. I think it's unfortunate that fifth edition kind of is falling into the WotC seems to want to fall in, give people what they want, which is power creep. Tales of the Valiant's doing the same thing, and I'm just like, if you're not helping out dungeon masters and game masters and narrators and storytellers, it's just I don't like power creep. Michael says, if I homebrew a community larger than a town, I'll almost always have a quarters or sectors where a certain culture dominates. A city might have a dwarven quarter or a tiefling dominate a hell town, for example. Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, it also gives it some flavor, right? Like just because this is part of the character class creation, I think this gives us fuel for what people would be like in your own world, right? So if a player says, "Oh, I want to be a human, but I was raised with Eladrin. Well, that gives you a clue. Well, maybe there's a place where the Eladrin should live, or if you're saying, you have things like here, like Forsaken or Godbound and whatnot, and you're like, what does that mean, right? Or tyrannized or stoneworthy. There, if you're wondering why is there, what's a good example? Like, why do we have high elf as a culture, and then why do we also have like mountain dwarf as a culture, or why do we have tinker gnome as a culture, right? And it's for two reasons. A, it's for backward com- backward compatibility and association. So, for example, if you're someone moving from fifth edition to this, and you have a character who, oh, I picked gnome, and then I'm a tinker gnome. Well, you can make a gnome that is a tinker gnome. So you don't. So you can actually make you using this version of your biology and your culture. You can just mix elf and half elf, and then there's no changes. But if you want to do something different, like my orc was a child that was brought into a godbound culture, a religious culture, and raised that way, then you can absolutely do that and mix and match what you want. So you can either be very traditional, very 2014 5e, or you could go well outside of that. Um, so let's get back into okay. The Yang King says, "I love making powerful characters, but new RPGs almost feel like the Rockstar camp in The Simpsons where everyone plays lead guitar." Yeah, yeah. It's I like specialists so that everybody has a chance to shine. That's my personal go to. But okay, so let's get back into let's take this away, bring me up, and then let me share out. I want to bring up this and then share it in here. All right, so we are back at A5E tools and some of the Destinies, and I haven't really taken a good look at the Destinies for like the Gate Pass Gazette. So let's take a look at this. Let's take a look at Darkness. So darkness is a destiny. Ooh, kind of. It sounds dark. Darkness is not good or evil. It is that which obscures. Darkness is the unknown and the fear of discovery. Darkness is a veil, a barrier that can mask the predator or guard the innocent from what they can't understand. Those with the destiny of darkness tend to be mysterious, shifty, and are only comfortable behind multiple layers of lies and manipulations. They are often arrogant, but not cruel. After all, only they know what lies behind the veil, and it is their duty to guard such knowledge from prying eyes and unprepared minds. Source of inspiration, which is obfuscation. You draw inspiration from learning and keeping secrets or using those secrets for your own ends. You gain inspiration whenever you learn hidden or forbidden information when you manipulate others. So you can gain inspiration when you learn a hidden truth, manipulate someone into doing something to your benefit they wouldn't normally do, keep something hidden against harsh scrutiny to your betterment or the betterment of others. And what is the mechanical feature? It is called misdirection. You know how to twist eyes and ears away from the truth. Whenever you or an ally you can see fails a deception check, you can use your reaction to spend your inspiration and undo any consequences of that failed check. And when you for fulfilling your destiny, and again, there are no hard the only hard and fast rule for fulfilling your destiny is when you turn 16th level. But something else during story wise could have you fulfill your destiny. You cannot fulfill you cannot fulfill a destiny more than once, or a different destiny and have different destiny features. You fulfill your destiny once in life and that's it. Um, After you fulfill your destiny, could you pick another one? Yes, but the fulfillment feature, you can only have one fulfillment feature. Um, so anyway, you fulfill your destiny when you succeed in a convoluted scheme, such as play multiple groups against each other and come out on top, manipulate several people into unwittingly aiding a grand scheme or seal away a horrible truth that would cause turmoil if discovered. And your fulfillment feature is a shadowy figure. Prying eyes find you obscured by shifting shadows. You gain an expertise die on stealth checks. In addition, you are considered lightly obscured by dim light while in areas of bright light. While in areas of dim light, you are considered heavily obscured, as if you were in an area of darkness. So you're basically constantly shrouded in some kind of shadows. Visually, I'm imagining this being like you see this in movies where you always have that person, even if the room is brightly lit, that person in the corner with their hood, their cloaked hood pulled up over their eyes, and there's just a shadow around them, standing in the corner. Always have to have 5 PCs all standing in the corner of a 4-corner room. Anyway, but yeah, it's a thing. I love it. What's another great one? Metamorphosis is awesome. Um, Slayer. Is that different than Revenge? You got Slayer. That was in Gate Pass Gazette too. Um, Slayer. There are many in the world who fight terrible evils to protect others. They battle back the clutching hand of death for another day, then enjoy a well-earned, peaceful retirement. For the Slayer, however, these battles are their calling, whether they like it or not. Such people may be fated to battle a powerful being and their minions, a specific kind of creature like werewolves, or an entire category of creatures such as the undead. Consult with the narrator to come up with a foe suitable to the campaign and a setting and campaign. Um, your feature is War of Attrition. You gain inspiration whenever you strike a blow against an especially powerful creature related to your destiny, but not necessarily your specific destined foe. So it might be like maybe your destined foe is a dragon, but you gain inspiration when you fight like drakes and serpents or something like that. Timothy McCown, what's going on there? The Yankee says, "I want to make a bard who has Slayer and plays the fastest lute ever." Yeah. Hey, listen. There was a bard in Mad Max Fury Road with a guitar shooting fire out of it. So why not? I wonder what this looks like if I put this in. It does show up. Wow. Wow. Okay, so what is the ultimate Slayer inspiration feature? All right. Fighting the creatures of darkness hones both your mental and physical prowess and it's called the Slayer's Gift. After you roll an ability check, attack roll, or saving throw, but before you know the outcome, you may spend your inspiration to gain a +5 bonus to that roll. So in essence, you can, instead of just rolling another d20, like with inspiration, where you roll a d20 and use the highest roll, you just gain a +5 bonus. That's actually kind of cool. So, fulfilling your destiny, the fulfillment feature is Eyes of the Slayer. For example, it says you fulfill your destiny as a Slayer when you defeat a specific and powerful creature connected to your fate. Destroy Vashika, Queen of the Vampires. Thwart the Aboleth Bergazmal's terrible plans of dominion, or imprison the dread knight Mazadun. And then there's Eyes of the Slayer. You have stared the darkness in the eye, and now few can meet your gaze. While you are not incapacitated, you can use a bonus action to fix any hostile creature within 20 feet of you with an unsettling look seeming to stare into its very soul. The creature makes a wisdom saving throw with a DC equal to your passive intimidation score. On a failure, it is frightened until the end of its next turn. On a success, it is immune to this ability for 24 hours. So, kind of cool. It's a intimidation feature. It's a fearful feature. You stare someone in the eye. I fought a dragon, hand to hand, my own hands. I'm thinking of Rain of Fire, the movie Rain of Fire with Matthew McConaughey, who's very very McConaugheying it up in that movie. Yeah, that one. Underdog. I know Metamorphosis. Its features you basically get to transform your character. It's kind of cool. Source of inspiration is Defiance. You draw inspiration from striking out against oppression, defying long odds, and placing hope in the impossible. You gain inspiration whenever you score a critical hit against a creature larger than you, roll a natural 20 on a death saving throw, openly defy a powerful being, or succeed after taking a risk with long odds. And the base feature is a nose for trouble. Get kicked around long enough, you start to know when trouble's brewing. Whenever you or an ally you can see fails an insight check, you can use your reaction to spend your inspiration and learn any information that would have been gained by a successful insight check. So, a player, if one of your allies fails, you're like, no, actually, they said something that is pretty important, blah, 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 that kind of thing. Um, and fulfilling your destiny is, you fulfill your underdog destiny when you finally overcome the odds, succeed at a nearly unattainable and grand task, complete a supposedly impossible quest, defeat an insurmountable foe, succeed at a dire endeavor where failure was all but guaranteed. And that's pretty loosey goosey, but okay, whatever. Um, and your feature is expendable and invulnerable. While being kicked around and batted from adventure to adventure, somehow you always seem to scramble out of the rubble. Whenever you would make a saving throw, you may spend your inspiration to automatically succeed instead. Essentially, it's one version of legendary resistance. I think yeah, legendary resistance. Actually, kind of cool. Motivation conscripted. Your choices were fight or die. You opted to live. Opted for life. Um. Okay. All right. All right. Okay. I like these. Let's see what you guys have to say. Fun, fun, fun. I'm trying to think if there's another. My brain's farting a little bit here. Um, the of course chaos. I want to go back to alignment. Of course, if you pick a destiny of chaos, having your character tagged with as chaotic makes perfect sense. I believe in devotion or dominion. I think it's dominion is a lawful feature. No, it must be. mm, no, that's not it. Yes, yes, yes. Here it is. If you picked me, in addition, you gain the lawful alignment, and you emit a strong lawful aura for the purposes of any feature, spell, or trait that detects or affects lawful creatures. And again, the way you play your character, if your table still decides to use alignment, it doesn't mean that your alignment has changed. It means that you have that alignment feature, which is kind of it's almost like being born under uh, uh, an astrological alignment of stars or features. Like, oh, the red comet passed by. I know I'm stealing from Song of Ice and Fire, but the red comet passed by. Everyone, all children born under this will be, you know, wild children or something like that, right? Whenever when someone sees the red falling star or something, and that all the kids born under it are just going to be wild, and the parents are like, oh, the grandparents are like, you, this is going to be a handful for you. They're not going to listen at all, and it may be that you come across as chaotic or heck even evil, even though as a player character you're like, no, I'm a herald. I'm a paladin. I'm a goody two shoes, but it doesn't mean you don't have that trait connected to you, and which may make certain creatures maybe want to ally themselves with you, even though you don't like them in the first place. Or it may be that you start. So many people. What is it like? It's if you're going to feel the punishment, commit to sin. Like so many people are calling you like, yeah, you were born under a red star. You're just evil. And you're like, no, I'm not. And everyone keeps, yeah, you're evil. I don't trust you. You're evil. And then after a while, you're like, look, if I'm going to feel the punishment, I might as well be evil, you freaking bastards, right? Um, so yeah, that may be a thing. Mm-mm-mm. So anyway, I did want to show you guys and everyone else who's interested in level up Advanced Fifth Edition, that there is something else, and these are destinies. They are very proactive. Unlike alignment, you actually have a mechanical feature that, other than being tagged, there are mechanical features with this, and a reason, another avenue to use your inspiration. It's not very powerful, but it does give one or more of your player characters something to look forward to. It also allows your narrator to focus the stories and know that, like, if you one character may want to get great revenge on a great evil, someone else is trying to be the best they can be with excellence, right? Another character is trying to defeat death or circumvent death, or is an avatar for death, uh, that kind of thing. So, like, here's something else. So, what is this? Let's go with ice. Destiny of ice. The ice is a quiet and a the ice is quiet, a still and solemn thing, content to merely be. Ice is uncaring, stubborn and somber. Those with the destiny of ice are harsh and calculating, slow and purposeful. They tend towards the distant and the calm, unnerved by the bustle of activity and reassured by isolation and stillness. They are beings of cold calculation and unwavering ideals, bulwarks against change, who work to keep the world as it is. Very Vulcan, I like. It feels like frigid stillness. You draw inspiration from contemplation and stillness. You gain inspiration whenever you spend extended time alone, tending to your own quiet interests. Chill emotions feature. Your mind is set and steady, and you can easily center yourself even amidst chaos. As an action, you may spend your inspiration to immediately end the charmed, confused, frightened, and rattled conditions on yourself. Kind of cool. Like a mini legendary action as to remove a condition. And Glacial Soul, the fulfillment feature. You are the core of the glacier, an unshiftable constant chill. You are immune to cold damage. Whenever you use your chill emotions inspiration feature, you can choose to become encased in impervious ice until the beginning of your next turn. While this feature is active, you are immune to all damage, but cannot take any actions, bonus actions, or reactions. Kind of different. I like that. There was a comic book character, dumb Legion of Substitute Heroes. uh Stone Boy or something like that. He could change the stone, and that was it. Couldn't move. So anyway, we've come to the end here. I want to thank you guys for being part of the show. I really appreciate it. Thank you very much for sticking by when I haven't been around. I'm a man of a certain age, and late nights and long weekends and travel and things like that take a toll. So whatever. Yeah, Dan King says anyone who has the ice destiny should suffer a chance of leg cramps with taking a long rest because they're too cold all the time. Oh yes, yeah. I, unless they always want their friend to stick their finger into their to chill their drink, or maybe keep things refrigerated. Although if the PC is like, oh, you want to, the only thing I keep refrigerated are sausages, and that's about it. Uh, uh, but no, I like that. I think that would work. I think that Destiny would work very well for like a monk character, or uh a character like a monk martial artist, centered style character, or like a bladesmith, someone dedicated to a single weapon, or a mage would work well with that with that one as well. And I could see even moving over to like ice and excellence kind of come together a little bit, or ice and knowledge come together. Ice is maybe more meditative than knowledge, but um, I could see them coming together as well. Let's look at our last one, death, and then get out of here. So all things end. This is right. This is nature. Death is part of life. Defending others often requires death, and unnaturally extended lives often require ending. Those with the destiny of death are delvers of finality. There may be a specific person or type of creature they are devoted to ending, or it may be life in general. Ooh, that sounds like a problem. All right. You draw inspiration from the ending of lives, especially lives of greater import whose ending is felt by others. You gain inspiration whenever you are directly responsible for ending the life of something meaningful, whether it's that of a particular powerful monster or a mere abstract life, such as the practice of a time-honored tradition. So, examples include kill or participate in killing a creature with CR equal to or higher than your class level, end an established organization, stop a long-standing tradition, or break something ancient. Death Scent inspiration feature. Ooh, that's wordy. You are intricately familiar with the cycle of life and death and its many interpretations. As a bonus action, you can spend your inspiration to detect the location of either undead creatures or inanimate corpses within 60 feet of yourself. It's kind of cool. You can learn the CR of any undead you detect in this way, as well as two of the following for a single undead, chosen after learning their location in CR. You can learn their resistances, immunities, vulnerabilities, what languages it speaks, or its armor class. And you can learn two of those. You learn the general cause of death for any corpse you detect with this ability. For example, you know a creature died of poison, but not what kind or how it was administered. Its CR in life and its creature type. You also gain advantage on all medicine checks to examine a corpse you have detected in this way if you choose to exhume and study it. Kind of cool. So you spend your inspiration to do that. The fulfillment feature is you fulfill your destiny of death when you end a life of pivotal importance to the world, such as participate in the slaying of something immensely powerful or meaningful, such as a monarch, an empire, the last member of a species or culture, an immortal creature, or a god. And its fulfillment creature is Deathly Aura. You are an endbringer, a frightful harbinger of the inevitable when you want to be. Oh, when you want to be. As an action, you can spend your inspiration to emit a deathly aura in a 30-foot radius around yourself that remains for a number of rounds equal to your proficiency bonus. Whenever a creature enters your deathly aura for the first time on their turn or starts their turn there, they must make a wisdom saving throw with a DC equal to 10 plus your constitution bonus plus your proficiency bonus. Surprise is 10. On a failed save, creatures are frightened of you until your deathly aura ends. In addition, all creatures that enter your deathly aura or start their turn there make death saving throws and constitution saving throws at disadvantage. When you activate this ability, you can choose a number of creatures equal to your proficiency modifier to exclude from this effect. It's kind of cool. And mind you, this is not dependent upon like whatever heritage or culture or character class or background of your character. So these features like this is just more um it's better than alignment. Let's be honest. It's a bit better than alignment. So anyway, lastly guys, thank you very much for being here. This is level up advanced 5th edition. It's still in beta because you know sometimes people find differences, and also as they keep adding to it because of the Gate Pass Gazette and other sources. For example, if I go over here to sources, let me move this down here so you can see the entire pull down. There's the Adventurer's Guide, of course, Trials and Treasures, the Monstrous Menagerie, the big three books. There's also Adventures in Zeitgeist, of mythological figures and monsters. There's a Dungeon Delver's Guide, all the Gate Pass Gazettes, and an Adventure to Save a Kingdom. Is that all of them? That's not all of them. But anyway, yep. So you can, of course, you can use each of these pull downs to go through to look up anything that you want specifically. Like for example, here are the combat maneuvers for the martial classes, and all of them here. Let's go to Mirror's Glint, for example, and you can take a look at all of them here in alphabetical order, and then you can uh, pick which level, which degree of I mean, how many exertion points they cost, what kind of actions to narrow that down, how many degrees up to 5th degree, basic maneuvers and on, and then of course all the traditions. You can narrow that down as well. If you're looking for a specific maneuver, or you're looking for a specific maneuver to fill a gap that you have, or to replace one of a different level. Let's say you gained a level and now you can pick third degree maneuvers, and you're like, oh, I want to change it over to Razor's Edge or something like that. Or you can search by name, and then you can just apply what you've picked. And so I picked third degree Razor's Edge, and then these are what came back: drive by, instinctive counterattack, or mind over body. So kind of cool. Let's go back to the homepage. Guys, thank you very much for being part of the show. Think he's an ice themed monk martial artist. I like it. It doesn't. Well, I'm not suggesting that you have to be ice themed. I was just talking about emotionally and mentally. Icy in personality and like. But yeah, an ice themed martial arts monk. Yeah. Oh hell yeah, absolutely. What are your weapons made out of? Ice. I strike my opponents and freeze them, and one hand freezes them, the other hand shatters their chest and pulls out their ice crusted heart out of their chest. I love it. So anyway, guys, thank you very much for being part of the show. Tuesdays, Level Up Advanced Tuesdays. We'll get into other things during the week, which I don't even know. Next week, I will be going on yet another adventure. Since we're talking about ice themed, I will actually be heading to Alaska. A bit of a pre uh, a bit of a pre retirement um, bucket list trip. The wife and I had stacked cruising set up ever since COVID, and we couldn't go, but we kept it. So then, as time has gone on, we set up different cruises, and you get bonuses and things like that, because industry still wants your business if you are a cruiser. I'm a person of a certain age, so yeah. So I will be heading to Alaska. That happens next week. So anyway, guys, thank you very much for being part of the show. I really appreciate it. Everybody, thank you very much for spending your very valuable time with me. Have a great day. I will see thee tomorrow, 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Peace.